So my name is Dozier. I'm one of the instructors here at Colaberry. I'm also one of the super mentors, and I also work as one of the instructors. So today, it's just a very simple topic that I feel people should just be acquainted with. Okay, so you understand when we come in here, most of the things we are bringing to you may not be anything new, but it's just a way of, keep refreshing your mind or your memory over those items, right? Today, we're not going to stay too long here, okay? When you got to the time you need to build your cube, then they're asking you for a dim date, right? A dim date table. Now, some, use the model given to them inside the cube. Sometimes it doesn't work. It's always good. You build out your own dimension table based on your own dimension data, okay? So I'll share two different things, but I think the concept, the idea is still the same once you understand it. Now, again, today's class may not just be for everybody, right? Those of you that are still building their model, their data warehouse model and their dimension and fact model, right? Part of the project you are building, you may have a need to create a dim date. Now, the important thing is to understand that you need to relate the dim date table with your data. What I mean by that is, let's just say you have a fact table or another dimension table that have date in it, or a fact table that have date in it, or you can entirely build this as a standalone, right? But somehow you have to link it to the fact table. Okay, you have to link it to the fact table. The whole point here is when you have a table that contains data, creatable data. What I mean by that is you have other dimension tables, right? Usually you join the dimension table to your fact table using your dimension keys. So in the same way, your dim date table should have also a dimension key of its own. Okay. Now, the simple table script I have here, okay? This is just a simple table script. Now, of course, you should be familiar with all of this. This is just a clear statement. If exist, okay? So we are creating a date key. It's going to be an integer, all right? It's going to be an integer column. We have a date. It's going to be a date column. We have day. It's going to be a tiny int, because just containing number of days, okay? Tiny int. Then we have, again, there are different ways depending on what you need, okay? Depending on what you need or what they're asking you to build out. Some of the things you will see here may not be relevant to what you want in your table, or may be relevant, okay? It's not everybody may want day suffix, all right? But at least there are ones that must be there. You should have a date key. You should have date. You should have day, okay? Then you have weekday, right? Weekday, weekday name, weekday short. Then this one, weekday name short, may not necessarily be there, okay? Weekday first letter may not necessarily be there, okay? But I'm just adding, I'm making this so that you see like the different things you can add to what is going on, okay? You have day of week in month, day of year, you have day of month. Now, when you are doing reporting, okay, when you are, why is this relevant? Okay, when you are doing reporting or analysis, You might have different requirements, right? You might have different requirements from your boss, the things they want you to show, we want to see when you are building your report, all right? So based on what they want to see, then you can actually say, okay, this is what I'm going to present, right? Depending on what they want to see. So what they want to see determines what you are going to present. So here we have month, okay? We have month name, right? Month name, short, month name, first letter, quarter. Sometimes you need to calculate based on quarter. Then you have year, you have all of this, year, month, and it's weekend, it's holiday, okay? If it's a weekend, if it's a holiday. These are some of the things that you need in your dimension table, that is date dimension table. Now, every data warehouse, okay? Every data warehouse should have a dimension, a date dimension table. Every data warehouse should have a date dimension table. Must have a date dimension table, okay? And the date key is what is passed across all the tables that have date in it. So you can join those tables with the date key. Depending on what you have in your fact table, right? You can join your fact table. Let's just say you have ship date key, then you can join the ship date key to your dim date table. All right, or you have payment date key. You can join that payment date key to your fact table. So you can, join multiple keys to your dim date table. So you have this dim date can be called different things, right? Can be dim date time, dim date, whatever. But again, so this is what the script for creating our table is going to look like. So we have a primary key column, and that is the date key. Okay. But remember, this date key will also be derived from the whatever date you are passing out. Okay. Now, this is the script that we are going to use to generate our dimension table. Okay. This is the script that we are going to use to generate our dimension table. Now, I'm going to be explaining this script a little bit. Okay. Some of it is straightforward. Okay. Some of it is straightforward. Now, look at here. Okay. Look at here. This is where we generate the script that generates the key, the dimension key, the date key. So what we are doing is we are multiplying the year part, okay? We are multiplying the year part with 10,000, right? Then add the multiplication of the month part by 100 and the multiplication of day part by just 1, okay? So it's not expressly written out here. So with that, you should have your year, date, month. So let me show you what that will look like. Okay. Show you what that will look like in a different place. So if I run this, I think I need to get the variable, right? So watch here, my current start date, it's 2019, January 1st, 2019, right? And that's what I have here. This is January 19, January 2019, right? January 1st. So that's how the date key is going to come. So it's going to be YYYYMMDD format. Okay. That is a format for the date key. So your date key is going to come in that format. So just to break down again, I'm breaking this script line by line so that you can make meaning of what, because when it's all jacked up like this, right, it becomes too convoluted and might be overwhelming to somebody, right? But when you start looking at it piece by piece, then you see that it's not that scary after all, right? So if I look at this, this is what is being concatenated. This same script here, I'll show you what is going on piece by piece. So you can run this. Let's see. All right. So if I have here, I put a comma because I want to get that separate, comma, I want to get that separate. So run this, you see what we are adding up. This is what we are adding up, okay? So this is what we are adding up, 2019, 0000, right? Then add this one to it, that becomes 1, add this to it, that becomes your date, okay? So if I change this to say 10, right? Let's just say 11, 20, okay? 11, 20. So this is what I will have, okay? That's what I'm gonna get, right? 1,110 plus 20. That will give me 1,120. If I add this to here, I'm still getting 2019, 11, 20, right? So that's how the date key is going to be generated. All right. I'm good with this. Is it clear now on this for everybody? All right, cool. So now we know how this is generated. This is the same thing as current date, right? Which is the date here. Then suffix, we are using a case statement, okay? We are using a case statement. So we are saying when it's 1st or 21st or 31st, then ST. So this is a simple case statement, right? So again, we can take this. We can take this case statement. All right. Go back and run it along with this as well. Okay. Okay. So TH, why is it TH? It's TH because we have 20th here. Okay. Because it's 20th here. What if we make this 21? Right? What do we have? We have ST. So this piece of code is working as expected. Okay. It's working as expected. So if I put 22nd, What do I get? I get this and this. So it's working as expected. Now, you might have a table that doesn't need this, right? But it's just a conventional way of, writing. So you might have a report that will require you to generate this kind of code. When you're building your report, SSRS or Power BI or any report, Tableau, right? You don't need to start writing this code in them because it's already in your table. It's just a matter of pulling that column from your table. So day of the week, we are using date part. Every other thing you see here, right? You can derive using existing function, system function, right? So it's as simple as that. And that's how we can, generate our data based on what value that is being passed as current date. Okay, so here you have year, you have month, all this calculation that is being done, nothing fancy here. Is holiday. If it's holiday, then 0. Then if it's not holiday, right? Now, here, okay, here it's where we calculate is weekend, okay? It's weekend. So we're also using case statement to calculate if it's weekend. So when date name is Sunday or date name is Saturday, then 1. 1 means it's weekend, okay? Else 0 because it's not weekend. So we consider Sunday and Saturday as weekend. Every other day is weekday, right? Monday through Friday is weekday. Sunday, Saturday, weekend. So you have to use case statement to derive that. All right. So this is a script that you can use to build your dimension table. Okay. So how do we generate the record that we're going to insert in our table? See, I've been able to explain this piece of code inside, right? But to be able to insert all the records that we need, we are using a while loop. You all are familiar with a while loop. Yeah, you're familiar with a while loop. So with while loop, we can generate whatever date range we have, right? We can generate and populate our table based on that date range. So right now, I have old and existing data in there. So let me run the script for creating the table again. I'm going to drop it and create it. Done, okay? So now if you look at this, we don't have anything, it's empty. So we need now to populate the data, right? We need to populate the table. So we are using a while loop with a current date. And if you look at our script, we are making use of the current date. The current date, it's what we are making use of, okay? We're making use of the current date. And with the current date, we're going to be able to populate our data. But why do we need end date? Well, because we need to tell our while loop where to stop. Otherwise, it's going to run forever, right? Otherwise, it's going to run forever. So we are saying why the current date is less than end date. As long as this is less than this, then begin and keep running until the current date is equal to this, okay? The current date is equal to this. So again, let's go back to our script over here. What does this mean? We have this, right? Okay, so this means 2019, 11/23, all right? So what we are saying is here, what is our current date? Our current date is this, okay? Our current date is this. So it's going to keep passing the current date until we get to 11, whatever that last date, okay? So let's go back here. What do I have here? So assuming I have here, okay, 01, because that's what I want to start with, 01, right? So run this again, you will see that it's going to run until we get to what? 0102, okay? Which means select, it's going to be day plus one, date add. We're adding one day, okay? We're adding one day to this, setting this to date, whatever you start, you set one to it, right? You keep adding one to the next date, keep adding one until we get to the date, which is the end date. So it's going to always be current date plus one, okay? So we're going to keep adding one day to current date. So if you run 01, the next run is going to be 02, just first, second, third, until we get to where this end date. What is the end date? Until we get to 22/12/2031. Okay. Once we get there, that we end our loop. Then we'll exit from the loop.
Quick question,
Yes.
So basically the while loop is just generating a dates record and then ends terminates on the end date.
Yep. So this will be the starting date. We start from here. This is actually the date we are making use of. If you look at the script, it's only current date that will be passed, right?
Yep.
But the while loop needs somewhere to terminate, right? That's how while loop works. So we need to provide end date. Otherwise, it's going to keep running, right?
Yeah.
So we want it to terminate in this case, I want it to terminate December 31st, 2022. I can also say get date, which is today, right?
Yeah.
I can do that too. If I want it to terminate like today, I can also use get date. So it depends on what you want to do. Yep.
All right. Nice. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Is it possible for us to get this script?
Oh yeah, you'll get it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so let's run the script and see what we get. I'm going to highlight everything and I'm going to run it. So we have a record inserted in that table. So now we have, this is the record we have. Okay. So we have record. This is our date key, yeah, which is our primary key column, right? Our primary key column. Now, remember, there is no identity column on this, okay? We don't have identity column. And there is no need for identity column in a dim date table. Unlike every other table you have, there is no need for identity column in a dim date table. Okay. Unless if it's required by, some other strange stuff. But other than that, there is no need for you to have identity column because the dim date key is more than enough for you to populate your table. So we have our date column. We have the day. Okay, see here, it's 1, 2. Because sometimes you may need this column as well. So this is the day suffix. May be relevant to your design, may not be, but it's good to have them, right? So this is the weekday. So it's a Tuesday, right? So if we say the week starts Sunday, so day 1 is Sunday, Monday 2, Wednesday 3, right? So you go back here. How did we generate day of the week? Weekday, right? This is our weekday. So just date part, day of week. So that's how they are generating the weekday. So if you look at this, you will say, okay, the week starts on Sunday, right? And ends Saturday. Saturday is day 7 of the week, not Sunday, right? We all know that Sunday is the beginning of the week. Monday is the beginning of work week, but Monday is not the beginning of the week. Okay. So you have Tuesday. Now, weekday name, first letter. Okay. You may not need all of this, but it's good to know that it's there, right? So these are different data that we have. There might be other, other things that you would need in your table, but as you can see, the framework is here. That is, whenever you need, you can actually generate them through passing the date, right, column. In this case, we are using variable, but you might have a need where you are actually passing a date column from a table. You're passing a date column from a table, right? So in that case, whatever value you pass, that's what is going to work for you. Okay. So this is when you are purely building from scratch and you just want to build a standalone dimension table, right? But assuming you are building off of an existing data, let's just take mortgage project as a case, right? As a case. Okay. Now we have a table, loan date table, okay? We have a loan date table. This is our loan date table. Let me see if I still have it. Sure. So we have dim loan. Okay, in dim loan, we have loan date. So we can use this loan date, okay? Data from this loan date, we can insert it in our table, then update our records. So this is, let me show you an example. All right, an update statement. This is different from the one we looked at. Different from the one we looked at. But if you look at this, you have an update statement. Okay. Now, what we are doing here is to grab data from first thing you need to build a small ETL, okay? You need to build a small ETL and select records from loan date, okay? From loan date and other relevant, maybe social security number, right? And maybe loan key, if you want to insert it here, though it's not necessary, but all you need, the relevant data you need is just the loan date. So you can just simply add the loan date, okay? Add the loan date in your table. And also that loan date record you're inserting, you can also create the loan key the same way we have generated and insert the same record using just a small exercise. Okay, I think probably I'll just build out a complete solution for that'll be more appropriate, yeah. For what do you call it? SQL Wednesday. Okay, I might repeat this. Okay, so if you look at this, what we're not doing, after you have inserted the initial record, okay, after you have inserted the initial record in your table, every other column will be empty, right? Then you need to update those columns by setting these records, okay? So update statement, this is what update statement looks like, okay? So we have date name US, okay? Date name US, this is the script to get the date name. We have day of the week, we have day name of the week, something we saw on the other side, right? Day of the month, day of year, weekday, weekend, right? So when is Saturday is weekend, when is Sunday weekend, else weekday, all right? So same thing we have here, right? Where is that? Right here, okay? This is a little bit more elaborate here. So you are writing an update statement and setting the value, okay, for the loan date and determining what the weekday or weekend should be, okay? So we name week of year, month name, month of year, calendar quarter. You know, you can use calendar quarter, you can use regular quarter, right? And so on and so on. So you have physical quarter because calendar quarter is not the same as physical quarter. Physical year is not the same as physical quarter, okay? Because a company, an incorporation may have a different fiscal year, okay? A different fiscal year than the calendar year. So their year might start in January and close February next year. That's their fiscal year, okay? The calendar year is January to December. That's calendar year, but fiscal year for an organization is going to differ from one company to another because their fiscal years are different, okay? So with that, you can now, with this script, update that dim table, okay? Update the dim table for all the records that you have, okay? So this is good for those of you that want to go back, maybe you want to revisit your mortgage, because I do work on that mortgage. I still work on that mortgage project, right? Not because I'm teaching it, but I like to go back and see how I can tweak that mortgage project, see how I can make things different other than what I worked on initially, right? So, but again, if you are building a data warehouse, you already have an existing data. This is a way to create a dim table, first you need to grab record, right? You need to grab record from that table, all right? Grab record from that table and insert it in your dim date table. And once you've inserted the record, then you can update all the other columns that do not have data in them by pulling from the existing records, right? That's how you go about updating these records. Okay. Any questions on this? Or maybe you don't understand what I'm even talking about, right? You're confused? Anybody? It's hard for me to gauge whether you guys understand what I'm doing, or maybe it's too, maybe this is way beyond your scope, right? But like I said, this may not be for everybody tonight. I'm trying to help those that actually need this kind of knowledge, all right? That is how to build a dim table, not a dim table, but dim date table for your data warehouse. Okay, because every data warehouse need a robust dim date table. Need a dimension, date or date time dimension table. Every data warehouse need a robust dim date table. So now, again, you can look at the script and modify it and make changes as needed. You can even add more columns that you think you need, all right? I'm just here, I just added the basic column that I think that is needed. Some may not be relevant to you, some may be relevant to you, but I think the bottom line is once you understand the whole concept of building your dim date table and how to generate the data to insert into it, then it becomes very easy. Now, because you might have a situation where you are just selecting a range of data. You might have, for example, I have one of my, I work with Verizon as a consultant, have a dim table, right? Dim date table. I think the date range is like 5 years. But every 2 years, we have to update that table, okay? We have to update the table, remove old, maybe previous 2 years, we remove those dates from the table because it's no longer relevant to what we're doing. Then we have to update the value with a new record. So you have to, pretty much truncate and insert new records. And this is one of the ways we generate those records by, pick up a date and start manipulating the date based on what you are passing here. So look at this, right? There are other holidays, right? The other holidays, we can look at holiday because sometimes also you may work in a place that you need to consider holidays, right? So for you to consider holidays, then you need to be able to understand because every company may have different holiday calendars. So we may not go into the complexity of writing a query for a holiday, right? Because holidays are different for different organizations. But it's important that you know that holidays are there, okay? Holidays are there, and something like Christmas, right? Christmas. And so with that, at least we can start with something like Christmas, right? At least we know that Christmas is a holiday, okay? So assuming I want to, again, you go back to this table, right? We have a column that is called is holiday, okay? It's holiday. So if you look at here. So we should have September, October, November, December. So something like this, right, should be a holiday. So here, it should not be 0, it should be what? Should be 1. So let's try and see if we can get all the Decembers. At least let's start with that one. December 25th, right? So we can write another update statement here. Okay. So we say update dim date. Update dim date. Okay, so what are we trying to achieve? We want to update what? Holiday, right? Right? Update holiday. So that's what we are trying to update. Or we just say Christmas holiday. We want to update Christmas holiday. Okay.
Yeah.
We want to update Christmas holiday. So we say update the dim table. We want to set is holiday. We want to set is holiday equal to 1. Okay. Holiday equal to 1. What would be the holiday name? It's gonna be do we have a holiday? Yeah, so you have a column called holiday. Let's see. Okay, we don't have a holiday name, right? So we only have is holiday, but we don't have so again, you might decide to add a holiday name, right? But let's just leave it as it is, since we don't have a column called holiday. Now, what is the where condition? Anybody? We are what? So we have month. But this needs to be in a bracket because we have a column called month, right? We have a column here called month. So we have month is equal to 12 and day, right? We have another column called day, correct? So it has to be in bracket. So we are day is equal to 25. So anywhere day is equal to 25 and month is equal to 12 is going to set it to be 1. So go back here. We can have our Christmas holiday. Let's see if we have any update. Let's start with let's see if that worked or not. December. December. It didn't get, oh yeah, see, got updated. Okay, got it updated. It's a holiday. So our update statement worked. So you can look for another one, December 2020, December 25, 2020, see if that also works. I think should. There you go, right here. Okay. So we are able to set our holiday. Okay. Set our holiday. And with that, you can also, again, let's assume you have other holidays, right? You have other holidays, then you have to actually determine each year, because some holidays are different, right? Some holidays are different. For example, let's just say Easter holiday. Easter holiday varies, right? But Christmas holiday, we know is Christmas holiday. It doesn't change, it's 25th. 4th of July, right? Is a holiday, so it does not change. So we can actually use the same case statement here for 4th of July, right? So if the month is 7, correct? July is 7, and the day is 4, then we should update it as holiday, okay? Because we know 4th of July is a holiday, okay? Now, Labor Day, for example, changes. We know is the first weekend in September, but the date changes. 4th of July is 4th of July, doesn't change. 25th December is 25th December, they don't change, right? So with this, we can update this statement, and we know that anywhere we see 4th of July will definitely be a holiday, no matter the day of the week we have, right? So these are, some of the ways you can go about looking at this. So with that update, we can go back and look for July. This is July. So we are July 27, July, this should be right here. July 4th. So it is a holiday. So we have now established some holidays within our table. So you can actually go back if you have a transaction. All right. If you have a transaction that happened on a holiday and you don't even know which day is that, then you can actually say where is holiday equal to 1. Then it gives you all the transaction that happened on a holiday, right? It makes your querying a lot easier than you start guessing whether that day is a holiday or not. But now you have a table that clearly, as long as you can join this key, the date key, you can join it to any table, right? You can get transaction date for any transaction. And you can also know what day of the week you are talking about. You can know based on the date key, if it's a holiday, if it's a weekend, right? You will get all that information just simply by joining the date key and supplying the day of the week, day of the month, month of the year, and so on and so forth. So your table will give you, this table gives you a lot of leverage in terms of, building report. No matter what kind of report you want to build, it gives you a huge leverage because now you can manipulate your data based on what you already have in your table. All right. Any question?
Yeah, Josie, you mentioned what if it falls on a date that varies? How do we update that?
All right. So that's why I'm saying that might require a little bit of logic building, right? Because one, you need to understand. So what company does, okay? What company does is to have a separate holiday table for every year, okay? They have a separate holiday table that is not part of the date dimension table. Okay.
Okay.
But you can now join it to this table and get whatever result you want. But usually, because when it becomes a little bit complex to try to figure out, in terms of which day is holiday, which day of the week, the calculation will be a little bit cumbersome for dates, right? So they have a smaller table that is solely focused on holiday. Then you can have a holiday key, okay? So you have a holiday key to join to a particular date. I know we have, in Verizon, we have a calendar, right? We have a separate calendar that is different from, and every other table is updated based on that calendar. So sometimes the logic can be a little bit cumbersome. Trying to figure out, whether, again, because again, it's not simple as have a holiday, right? Then you want to know whether that holiday, it's a working holiday, because there are some holidays that are working holidays, right? You want to know whether it's a federal holiday. So it becomes a little bit, how do I say, like a lot of nuances, okay? Because you want to know, is it a federal holiday? Is it a state holiday? Because now you have, it wasn't like that before, right? But now you have state holidays, you have even cities that are observing certain holidays, that were not like that before. It used to be federal holiday. We know the holidays, but now there are, multiple holidays that are observed by different interest groups. So sometimes companies are, because depending on where they are located, might be forced to observe such holidays, right? So these are some of the things that, we put in consideration. Either you say, okay, these are the holidays, because each year, every company will come up, like I, as a consultant, right? I have Infosys holiday. My company is Infosys, but I work at Verizon, right? Verizon have their own holiday. Infosys have their own holiday. So there might be times that Infosys have a holiday, a mandatory holiday for us, but Verizon doesn't, right? So, so these are different things that each organization, depending on what. So that's why you can build a separate holiday table that will accommodate whatever holiday that your organization observes, right? And everybody is in agreement. Then you can decide now best way to incorporate it into your data warehouse overall.